It's going pretty
Glad to be
good.
here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on here, man. I really am. I kind of found you on TikTok. Actually, one of my subscribers on there was like, "Hey, go check out CrypticSIN because you guys kind of seem to think about things kind of the same way and present it differently, you know."
Yeah, yeah,
And so I checked it
yeah.
out, and
I've been
oh, go ahead.
I'd I'd been on there for like 2 years before they banned me, and I took a year off and decided to come back, and it's been fun since being back, I guess.
How long have you had your new account up?
A little around like 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, like 8 months.
What did they ban you for the first time?
Uh, Dangerous individual or group.
Seriously.
Yeah, I've been banned 14 times through 14 accounts. Each time, dangerous individual or group.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was it like? Do you think it was firearms content or what was it?
No, I did. It's the same thing. I do a lot of anti-government stuff and um, anti-disestablishmentarianism type stuff. So it's
Mm,
and then the same content that I always do. Homesteading and survivalism and foraging. But people that normally do foraging or homesteading, they just do only homesteading or foraging. Where I like to mix it up with other things. So yeah, that was
yeah,
a that was a big one.
I kind of rag on the government too, you know what I'm saying? But it tends to all come out of my YouTube for the most part. Like I don't really talk about it on my TikTok.
Yeah, they'll ban you quick on TikTok, or they'll just take your content down, which they've been doing recently. Is just taking my content down. And recently they kicked me out of the creator fund until the 10th. So like whatever.
I saw a video on that. It had something to do with the store, right?
It was from the TikTok shop. Uh, I had I had basically given an honest review on a product that was sent to me, and the company then threatened to sue me because I wasn't promoting their product, and said that it wasn't my job to decide whether their product was good or not. It was my job to promote their product, and I said that's not how this works. So they reported me to TikTok, and because of that violation, with that TikTok, there we
Oh,
go.
there you are. Okay.
I think it's my location. Hang on.
Okay.
Ah, there we go. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So how dare you have morals and give an honest review
I
about a
know.
product?
I know, right? I know, right?
You know, it's kind of interesting because there's like, especially on, I've had my TikTok up for probably like 5 months, pretty new to it,
Yeah.
and don't really know the drill and stuff like that. And I did run a different YouTube channel years ago, um, but I just recently was getting back on that, and it's kind of interesting. There's so many people that are doing like all these equipment reviews on YouTube. And I was
Yeah.
looking into it a bit, and people were, I mean, there's a lot of people that are reviewing products, and I mean, they're definitely benefiting behind closed doors to offer up a good review. And if you do
So
bad reviews, it's like, ooh, you can kind of get nerfed from the whole thing.
yeah, so I just recently got a product, which I'm gonna be doing a review on it here soon, and it's a knife. It's like one of those kitchen knives. And I don't know if you remember a while back, every influencer that was out there was pushing the husk, like the husk
Hmm.
uh, Japanese knife, and then they changed it to the Viking knife. They're all just these cheap Chinese fucking stamped. I mean, they're forged, but they're stamp forged. So like they're these cheap Chinese stamp forged knives that they claim are like as good as a chef's knife, and they're not as good as a chef's knife. And like you got
Hmm.
Tivoli, which is the same company as Husk, who's the ones that sent me a knife, and then you've got Dream Kitchen, and They're all from the same manufacturer. It's all the same company, and there was a while back that all these influencers were getting paid big dollars to push Husk, and Husk sales were like I think the Husk sales topped off around like 178 million for that one
Oof.
year of just their kitchen knives. So like as a creator, like as a content creator, people were making bank off, pushing these knives, but they were
Hmm.
pushing shit. Like they're pushing crap. It won't hold an edge. You cut through a couple of tomatoes, the fucker's dull as shit. And like
Yeah.
the one they sent me was a deboning knife, and they're like, oh, it's a deboning knife, and I look at it, it's got a really nice edge on it. I haven't started punishing it, and so I figure what I'm gonna do is I'll cut a tomato, I'll cut an onion, and then I'll start slapping trees with the damn thing and see like whether it'll do the exact same cuts again. And I'll do it all on camera. I mean, like, up, hey, here's the knife. Like, all they want me to do, all that I am obligated to do, is make a video. That's it. So and put their product link in it. It's up to the viewer to decide whether they want to buy the thing or not. That's my opinion on how that's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely
I'm
agree.
not like I'm not going to get behind a product. The only product that I've ever reviewed, the only products I've ever reviewed that I get behind 100% are Hardhead veteran helmets and Minuteman armor, and that is it. Well, actually, Steelco. I get behind Steelco's armor too, but I just don't like wearing steel.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Like
I don't think there's. Oh, go ahead.
I've told my opinion on steel. I wear steel. Like I like steel armor, and I like the idea of the coating that Steelco put on their armor.
Hmm.
So shit, I hammered one of their plates with ungodly amounts of 5.56, and then hit it with 7.62, and it didn't spall out. So like their coating actually did its job in keeping all the rounds contained inside the coating. But
Hmm.
like I've had Spartan armor, and it only took 5 rounds, and that was blowing the coating right off of it.
Wow.
So that means
Okay.
that's spall going all over you. But like if you're in a situation where you're catching more than 2 or 3 rounds, you've really screwed the pooch. Like
Yeah, you really shit the bed hard if you're there.
you really fucked up at that point. Like if worrying about whether your plate's going to be able to take multiple hits is an actual thing for you, then you've got the wrong priorities at that point. Like now you're just juggernauting. So like
Totally.
steel is a fallback armor. That's where like we're here, we're not going anywhere. This is the last stand. Throw on the steel plates
Hmm.
because I'm not gonna need to be running and gunning. But if not, it's PE for me all the way because it's light. Each plate weighs about 3.5 pounds, and it'll stop multiple rounds. You know,
Okay.
which hopefully I don't have to do. If I take one, then I'm bugging the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the things I'm always talking about on my YouTube, especially is like, dude, because it seems like the prepping and survivalist crowd are so into their gear and their firearms,
Yeah,
and I'm just
yeah,
like, man, you do not want to involve yourself in any kind of CQB. And basically, like, whoever makes it through shit hit the fan without firing a shot wins. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, that's the whole fucking goal. That's the whole goal is like not to have to fire a shot. I might have saved up a shitload of ammo, but my whole point is not to use it.
It's insurance, you
Yeah,
know? It's like, okay, I screwed up bad somewhere, or just, bad luck just came and found you. It's like now you got to deal with it. But the
yeah.
whole goal is to totally avoid that shit.
You can move your tail, dog.
So, I was wanting to talk. Well, I was kind of thinking like maybe because I'm sure we share like some subscribers on YouTube and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we
But I
definitely do.
was
We definitely do.
yeah, because I've got like some of my patrons. I mentioned I'm like, dude, CrypticSIN. I talked to him like he's going to be on the podcast, and they were stoked. They're like, oh, we know him. Yeah, he's awesome. So they were super fired up. But
They
I
need
was
to
kind
follow
of
me on YouTube.
what's that?
They need to follow me on YouTube.
They might. They
'Cause
might.
that's been a hard thing is trying to transmute followers from one platform to the other. Like
Hmm.
my YouTube hasn't broken over my YouTube hasn't broken over 6,000, so I'm always like, whatever.
Hmm.
I occasionally post content from one platform to the other, but it's just exhausting.
Yeah, and it seems like there's really different crowds. It's like
Yeah,
what flies on TikTok. People don't
yeah.
have the patience to go over to YouTube and watch a 20-minute video that gets into more detail. I've kind of had the
You
same
got something to
trouble.
chase? Yeah.
There's squirrels all over out there. I can tell.
I'm like, you got something to chase right now? No, they're great.
Yeah.
They do a good job of keeping the place safe.
Yeah. How many dogs you got?
Three.
Okay.
The blue tick, the Catahoula, and then an old. Go away. Go fuck off. Go fuck off. There you go. And an old healer, shepherd mix, and he's retired. He's in the house. He never leaves his bed now.
He's chilling,
He's
huh?
old. Yeah, he's old.
He's in the retirement home.
Oh man, that dog fought a mountain lion that I didn't see. Like I was being stalked. It was back when I was still in the army. I was taking him in to work with me because like I only worked on the rifle range, and I worked on the long distance rifle range. It's like nobody ever fucked with me. I'd just take my dog out with me, throw him in the truck, take off, go out and start working on targets. And we were changing out a target lifter, and I had him in the back of the truck, and I just brought the new target lifter out, and he stands up and he starts to growl, and I'm like, "The fuck are you doing?" And he just jumps out and runs up the mountain. And that's when I see this big brown burlap sack get up, and start running away from him. I'm like, "Oh fuck, that was a fuck!" I was like, "That was a fucking mountain lion." Oh my
Wow,
god!
man.
And it wasn't that far, dude. It wasn't that far. It was only like 50 meters away from me,
Wow.
and it was out in the open. That fucker was like stalking up on me. He chased it up the mountain, and he fought with it. I heard him. I heard the cat. I heard the cat let out a bellow. I heard him barking all the way up, and then he stopped barking. I was like, that cat just killed my dog.
Yeah.
And then he comes running back down the mountain, tongue hanging out, just like, hey, like good job,
Was he
good
all
job,
cut up?
dude. Fuck
Did
no,
it work him over? No.
no.
So he just ran it off, huh?
He just ran it off.
Wow, man.
It's good for
We're
him.
always
Good for
watching
him.
our back out here.
You
You
have
know.
to. Like I would go into the Arizona backwoods all the time, and you
Mm-hmm.
really need to if you don't have a gun on you, you definitely should be making as much noise as possible, keeping your head on a swivel, because you can
Mm-hmm.
stumble across a bear if you're out gathering berries. You can stumble across a bear in a berry bush, or you can just accidentally walk into a mom and her cubs. Or there's so many things that can
Mm-hmm.
go wrong, and there's so many animals out there that will fuck you up. Even
Oh yeah.
an elk will fuck your shit up.
You know these I see all these videos all the time of just dumbass people that don't know shit about wildlife out there. That they like it. I kind of want to blame like Walt Disney and shit like Bambi. Everyone thinks that all these animals are like you can walk up and pet them. You know what I'm saying? It's
Fucking
like,
Dr.
oh, watch.
Doolittle.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it's pretty bad. People are pretty clueless.
Well, you see, like,
Oh.
there's videos from like Yellowstone all the time where people go out there and try to hang out with the bison and get gored and shit. It's like, fucking idiot.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Stop
that's the
your
last
car,
thing you
take a
want to.
picture, and move on.
Yeah, my wife and I actually we went up just the other day, a couple days ago. We drove out to a spot that we like to camp, and when the weather's good, and there's still quite a bit of
Yeah.
snow on the ground, so we had to walk it way up to the campsite. We're gonna get the vehicle up there, and there I am, like banging around and making noise and shit because it's that time of year where the bears are waking up, and a hungry bear, a big hungry bear. We've seen some
Yeah.
good sized black bears up there. There's no browns, but
Now
still a
you
big
get in
black bear.
you get into a lot of long distance shooting out there, don't you?
Well, there's definitely the opportunities for it. I don't really find the need to take many shots beyond 300 yards. I think it's
Okay.
like if you do if you're a hunter, you know what I'm saying, and you actually do what you're supposed to do and put yourself in the right position. It's like, you don't
Yeah.
have to, but you certainly could. I mean, like if I wanted to, I could, get a rifle and name it,
As-
7mm Remington Ultra Mag or whatever, and take shots from
yeah.
forever.
Yeah. When I was in Arizona, I guided hunts. I would do guided elk hunts. And shit, if I got an elk tag, which I'd get a cow tag every year, but if I got like a bull tag, any elk tag would take me less than 15 minutes to fill because I
Wow.
know exactly I know where the animal's going to be. I know what its schedule is. I know where the water is. I know the terrain. All I have to do is go, walk out, and elk are fucking stupid as shit. Anybody that says an elk is a challenging hunt is fucking lying to you. If a guide says, "Oh, it's a challenge, it's the most challenging hunt ever," they're fucking lying to you. The most challenging thing is quartering the fucker and carrying it out. That's all that's challenging about an elk hunt. I have walked up with a natural bow 15 yards away from a fucking elk and thrown an arrow into it. It is not that goddamn hard. They just stop. They look at you for a second. Thump. It's too fucking easy. But then like that's not profitable as a guide. So I'll take you and I'll walk you all around the fucking terrain, knowing that the animal's right over there. I know they're right over there. I'll walk you all around the terrain. And like when it looks like you're getting tired, like okay, we'll cross the rise, and I will tell you like okay, they're gonna be right over here. Cross the rise, get in a good shooting position. Like there you go, take your animal, choose one.
They're paying for
choose
the
one
experience.
They're paying for the experience.
They're paying for the adventure.
That's what guides do is they provide the experience. They like if you have to spend more than 15 minutes filling a tag in anywhere in Arizona, you got some serious problems. Unless it's Sitka, and that's a challenging hunt. Sitka deer really, those little fuckers, man. Hate Sitka deer. They taste delicious, but like they're hard as fuck to find. And when you do find them, they'll walk into a section of tall grass where there's no other way to get out, and then they'll just disappear. And you'll go walk that tall grass. You'll walk that tall grass back and forth, thinking you're gonna flush them out. Nope. It's like they went into a portal and they just went somewhere else. Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty cool that you. I was gonna say it's cool that you brought this up because, when it comes to hunting and shit in fan, like there's and even like now, there's a lot of hunters out there that they get their tags, and it's opening weekend or whatever, and they get out there and they walk around and expect that they're just gonna walk up and get a good shot on a whitetail or something like that. And these guys can't fill their tags.
Especially whitetail though. Whitetail feel the pressure quick. Good trophy bucks, they know by the change of the season when it's time for them to get their ass moving. And then that becomes generational. So like if the older bucks at a certain time are already starting to skitch out and go to a different area, then that becomes ingrained in them, and they'll start moving to a different area. So you might see them out in, like general areas, and you might be driving down the road like, oh, look at that beautiful buck. It's not seasoned yet. And you're like, oh, I know where they're at now. Like, no, you don't. You have no fucking clue. They might be sitting there eating acorns. Those fuckers will take off and they'll be fucking 20 counties away because they know like nobody hunts over here, or they don't get pressured over here. Really is what it is. They don't get pressured there. And they'll go to places where the terrain's so challenging, most people won't even fucking even think about going in there.
They'll be down in town.
Yeah, they will. Where you can't fucking shoot.
They'll be down there mowing the lawn. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck this last season, I saw more fucking deer on the side of the road than I saw anywhere. I mean, I didn't get skunked out, but I didn't get any really trophy or good size. I took a couple of does and that was it. That was it. And like I found other animals, but they just weren't like, they weren't what I would think as harvestable. Like they needed a couple more. They need to keep going. And I'm not going to shoot an antlerless. Like I'm not going to shoot a nub, like a nub buck. I'm not going to shoot a nub buck, even though it's legal. I'm not going to shoot a nub buck, which is weird because it's not legal to shoot a nub. I mean, it's legal to shoot a nub, but it's not legal to shoot a spike. Like, the fuck's the difference? Like, you're going to let me shoot the juveniles, but you're not going to let me shoot the kind of still juveniles? Like, that makes no fucking sense.
My experience is that Fish and Game largely has its head up its ass.
Oh yeah. You can get online and you can see that Fish has finally admitted that we have mountain lion. We didn't have mountain lion before, but now they finally admitted it. Even though for the past, I don't know, I've been hunting in Arkansas for well over 20 years. For like well over 20 years, people have seen them. They've been catching them on game cameras. The game official's like, no, that's just a house cat. There's no mountain lions here. And this year, they found a dead one. They found an old, literally a mountain lion had to die of old fucking age, and somebody had to find it for Game and Fish to be like, Okay, yeah, that's a mountain lion. I guess there are
Yeah, we
mountain
have
lion
them.
in Arkansas. Yeah, they're here.
That one's from Oklahoma. It just came
It
over the
was from
border and died.
Colorado. It was from Colorado, so it was genetically it had a gene marker, like it had been already like gene marked, like
Uh-huh.
it was from another study that they had done in Colorado because they took the genetics off the animal, and its genes came back to an animal that was caught in Colorado. So
That's wild.
it made its way all the way from Colorado through Oklahoma or Texas, whichever, all the way to Arkansas.
Wow.
That's a long way for that cat to go.
That is
That's
a
like,
long ass way.
wow. I mean, I know they have a range of like 500 miles, but god damn,
Yeah, and I
that's
figured
nuts.
it wasn't in one direction. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like an area that they kind of
Well,
gravitate around, right?
if it died of old age, I think urban sprawl just kept pushing it. That's what I think
Mm,
happened. I think it
ugh.
was just urban sprawl, like where it thought was a great place to hunt and live, probably ended up becoming a subdivision. It was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. And then it found another place, and I was like, okay, fuck this, I'm out. And it just
Mm-hmm.
kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas still has a lot of open territory that hasn't been developed, but it's starting to disappear soon, quick. So that's why the beauty of Arkansas is a lot of people own a lot of land and they don't do shit with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to
I,
develop it, they're not going to sell it off.
I was actually out there, shit, 3 winters ago. I was out
Uh,
there near Story, Arkansas.
okay, okay.
That's where
Whitetail
my
hunting?
mother-in-law. Near where?
Whitetail hunting?
No, I was just out for the winter to visit family and do some camping and shit. We actually found a sick ass spot right on Lake of Ouachita and spent about 6 weeks out there in our tent, our 4 season tent and shit. And it was a good time, man. It was cool. It was that
Oh
winter that
shit.
was like the worst winter in over 100 years.
Oh, okay.
I did it in a tent there.
We we drove from Arizona to Arkansas for that. And that's the first time I've ever had to put chains on the back of my truck. And I put like because it was just crap coming from Arizona all the way to Arkansas down the 40. It was just a shit show. And it seemed like every time it was like beautiful weather, like a snowstorm would roll through the town we were about to drive into. So
That's what happened to me,
it was
man.
yeah, it was bad, dude. It was really bad.
It was crazy because we were like, you might have been making that drive right around the same time we were because we were coming down and my navigator, my wife, kept looking at the weather and shit, and she's like, "Dude,
We're
we're gonna
fucked.
have to go south." Like, yeah, we kept going south to dodge these gnarly ass storms, and then they start
Yeah.
catching us. And we've got like in the morning, we've got like literally, I'm not shitting you, like a half inch of ice frozen all over the entire van, like totally covering the entire
Yeah.
van, and all those highways froze up. And we'd
Yeah.
be going down the highway, right? And whenever you would see an overpass, and this was insane to me, every overpass we would come across, there was a wreck on top of it, or like
Yeah.
on the other side of it, or on our side of it, because the ice was just they were totally frozen over, and people were just wiping out like crazy.
Yeah. We were trying to dodge wrecks, but mostly what we were trying to dodge was highway closures. So like
Mm-hmm.
we were trying to stay ahead of the closures. And that was like we don't want to get stuck in some place and have the road closed down and not know when the road's going to open back up. And that was on the way back. So we were just pushing and pushing. And there was a couple of times like it got a little hairy. It got a little hairy. I saw more than a few semis slide off the road, and saw a couple of people
Mm-hmm.
rear-ended. And like there's a few close calls where it happened around us, and we were able to skate through it. I was like, "Yep, I'm
Yeah.
not going back. I'm not going back for that. I hope they're okay because I'm not letting off the gas. We're moving, and if we stop moving, we're not going to get moving again."
Yeah. Yeah. I had moments where I would just literally be coasting down the highway and just like, I'm not turning, I'm not stopping. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You're along for the ride.
It's
That
always a
that was
scary feeling when you It's always a
Go ahead.
scary feeling when you go to tap your brakes and nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And
When
you,
you're
you
like,
could tell your wheels stop spinning.
you're like,
Mm-hmm.
might not have. I'm glad I didn't. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna leave the gas on. Keep going.
Yeah. Just stay with it, man. You know, what else you gonna do? You're along for the ride at that point, you know.
Yeah, I'd
It was
that year I had a more than a number of occasions where I had to like just slide through intersections, waving at people like, "Sorry, sorry,
yeah.
it's not
It was,
stopping." My bad.
you know, like people's plumbing and shit was like freezing and busting in their houses because
Oh
people were
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
unprepared, you know. And we
dude,
didn't
all the
really
way
notice any
down, all
difference. We're out in a tent, you know what I mean?
the
It was like, I got
North
water.
North Phoenix. North Phoenix was the first year that people's plumbing exploded. Like their pipes were busted, and they had like all these ice like beautiful ice sculptures hanging out of the side of their house. They're like,
Yeah.
we're not prepared for this. Like, well, yeah, you're fucking North Phoenix.
Dude, I talked to some plumber. I can't remember where, but I talked to some plumber that worked in like northern, like he worked in Texas, in like a highly populated part of Texas where people had some money. And it might have been
Yeah.
Austin. I want to say it was Austin, but he was saying that a lot of these wealthy people jumped on a plane to Cancun or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And didn't drain their plumbing and shit, and they get home
didn't
and the
didn't
house is
winterize their
flooded.
house.
And they're like, we didn't even know this can happen, you know?
Now that following year, because of that, everybody in like mid to northern Arizona was scared out of their mind. So I was running a remodeling business and basically a remodeling and handyman business at the time, and I
Mm,
had so many gigs for winterizing people's homes because they were like
wow.
those people that lived in the area. They're all snowbirds. They like they
Hmm.
might they as soon as the snow comes, they fly away. They don't like the cold. They love the beauty of northern Arizona because the summers are super mild. It's gorgeous, lots of pine trees. It's like living in a beautiful forest, and there's nice mountains, and the weather doesn't get really over 80 degrees. So they love living up there. But then when the winter comes, like you might get socked in with like 6 feet of snow in one snowstorm. Just
Hmm.
one snowstorm might come through and lay down 6 feet of snow. So they don't like that shit. And
Hmm.
I had so many gigs for winterizing houses. I'd winterize 10, 15 houses a day.
Wow.
You know, like $20 RT, just air compressor, blow out their lines, hose bibs on the outside, dump some RT in
Hmm.
the toilets and the drains. Like I just made myself $250. Like, cool. Roll on to the next one. I'd end the day out like clearing like fucking $2,500 just winterizing people's homes.
Nice, man.
And I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel guilty about it because like fuck it, like you should know how to do this as a homeowner. If you're a homeowner, you should fucking know how to do this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Totally.
like yeah, like that's the thing is like I've noticed over the years is like a lot of people that own homes have absolutely no idea what actually home ownership entails, but they have money, so they don't really need to.
Hmm.
That disposable income, then so for somebody to do it. You know how many
Right.
ceiling fans I've hung in my life?
Now, is that usually what you do? You're working contracting?
No, now actually, I just work mostly off entertainment, like doing entertainment.
Okay.
Like I will and instruction. I have my survival classes, and I have guest instructions that take me to different places where I go and guest instruct. But most of it's just entertainment. I'll get invited to go sing here, or I'll get invited to go do stand up comedy here, which is things I haven't put those things out online because I don't want those. I don't want that to interfere with the things that I'm trying to do. Like
Hmm.
I do stand up comedy mostly for myself, even though I have a massive booking list from it, and then I have my dance instruction. So like, it's weird how the worlds don't collide with each other. Like
Uh-huh.
the festivals that book me to teach dance, like the people at those know me only from the dance circuit, and they have absolutely no idea about the other side of the social aspect, the social media aspect that I do, or actually what my true passions are. They have no idea I'm a homesteader. They have no idea that, like I'm a survivalist. But yeah, I was really hoping that the TV show was going to be the breakthrough for like that side to like break out, but that didn't pan out. So
what's the deal with the TV show? Like, what was going on with that? I'm not
we
aware
we
about that.
shot we shot 2 episodes, then which I was happy to get paid for, and then we had a disagreement over intellectual property, and the uh, the thing was that they wanted to take, so this channel Survive Alive, they wanted to take Survive Alive and make it into a show. Basically, they're trying to copy off the Survivor Man, the Bear Grylls, Man
Rural
versus Wild.
survival. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're trying to go off that concept, and I was happy to do it, and it worked out for the first 2 episodes, and then they wanted to have ownership and trademark of my intellectual property. The Survive Alive is my baby. It's my trademark. I've trademarked it for the next 15 years. So like they wanted that, but then didn't want to pay me for that. So that we had a little bit of an argument there, and then we settled that where I would have 70% ownership over my own intellectual property. And then they started fishing, and we went. We were first with Tubi, and Tubi only wanted to pick us up for a 5 episode run to see how it went, and they tried to shop it, and Tubi ended up canceling the contract, and I just ended up leaving altogether. So yeah. So if there's something that comes out with Survive Alive, I'll just sue the shit out of them because it's still my property. they haven't. They didn't fulfill the side of the contract which gives them 30% ownership, so they can. I'll just sit back and be like, yeah, you owe me 70% of whatever you just made off that.
Go ahead, publish it somewhere. I dare you.
But I'm still good with the main producer, and I keep talking like, hey, if we're not going to release, can I get the episodes? Like, I'll put them out on YouTube. Can I get the episodes? I'll put them out on YouTube because they were really well done. It was really well edited, really well shot, and I mean, shit, I put 7 days into each episode of like starving myself and fucking living in the wild. So like, I think I'm owed something, minus like the scant amount of money that they paid me, and they didn't pay me much, dude. I got paid like fucking $400 per episode.
Oh wow.
$400 to go fucking eat worms and fucking
$65 a day to starve. $70 a day.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize, like each episode, I lost 20 pounds each episode.
Oh shit, yeah. That's something actually. It's cool that we kind of came around to a topic that I wanted to talk to you about through your show that you were trying to that didn't happen. Yeah. But one of the things that, like, I've heard you say some things and I've said some things that, like, I know you've been out there and you've starved your freaking ass off, and I've done that shit too. And like, my audience on the podcast, I really wanted to hit on this with you because there's like this huge portion of preppers and survivalists, especially survivalists, really, that just have this fantasy about bugging out that is totally unrealistic.
Oh yeah. And you're not going to survive off dandelions and fucking nuts. You're going to fucking die.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling people. And it's like, dude, I feel like I've spent a regrettable amount of time talking about bugging out because so many people aren't preparing. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to go bug out. And it's like, I want to help as many people make it as possible, but people just really have not wrapped their head around the realities of this shit.
Yeah. Bugging out to what is the question? Like, bugging out to what? Like, bugging out is cool. If you're in an urban environment and you need to get the fuck out of that urban environment, I understand that because fucking cities will get crazy. Let's say shit hits the fan, regardless of what situation it is. People get stupid desperate when it comes to cities. But the beauty of a city is you have a fuckload of food in one spot. Why the fuck would you want to bug out of that in the midst of the chaos?
Right.
Just hunker the fuck down. Let all the fucking wackadoodles go and kill themselves off. And then
Yeah.
you have less of a worry of fighting your way out.
Yeah. Castle doctrine it. Don't make any noise. Don't do everything you can to not attract any attention. And you better
Definitely
have a
don't make
shit ton of food and water stored up.
Yeah. And hopefully your neighbors bug out and you can just rob their fucking places. Hell. And water, fuck, man. Everybody's fucking water heater holds water, and everybody's toilet has fucking like five gallons in it. So you get fresh water, you're fine for fresh water. In an urban environment, you're fine for fresh water. You don't need to worry
And
about
most
water
people have no idea.
purification. Nobody thinks about that. Then that's the problem. Like the hard part about the thing that I try to get across to my to survival students is mindset. Just simple mindset. If you can keep your head, then you will survive any situation. As long as you can keep your head, as long as you can keep thinking positively and keep thinking organically, like what's the next thing I can do? What's the next thing I can do? How do I what how am I going to how am I going to get food here? How am I going to get food there? As long as you can just keep your brain working, then you're fine. But of course, your brain will eventually stop working if you start having a you know, calorie deficit, dehydration. If these things start setting in as actual factors, then that becomes a problem. But if you're going to bug out to the woods, do you have food stored there? Have you been moving food caches there? Have you been storing up a good amount of food out there? Because everybody thinks you're like, oh, I'm just going to survive off the wilderness. I'm like, no, you're fucking not. Not in North America. Not in North America. You sure the fuck are not. Even squirrels will fucking disappear because they're not fucking stupid either. They know there's fucking pressure. You walk into the woods, right? You might see, like, you stand in the woods and you might see 10, 20 squirrels go running by. As soon as your ass starts walking, how many squirrels you fucking see?
Yeah, that's
Fucking
why,
zero.
like, a lot of guys, and this is another one of the things that I talk about all the time, because there's all these dudes that are like, oh, I'm going to bug out with a 1022. I'm going to live on squirrels and rabbits.
Yeah,
dude,
right.
you know, like what you just said. And I've done a shit ton of small, like an absolute ridiculous number of like amount of small game hunting with 22s, shotguns, all that kind of shit. And to me, it was when I started snaring rabbits. Like, and I learned how easy it actually was to do it every single day, to catch rabbits every single day. It totally changed my mindset about, you know, what I needed to have, and like spending multiple hours actively hunting with a firearm versus checking a trap line for 30 minutes, you know, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night.
Yeah, and the more traps you get out, the easier it is. The more traps you get out, the way easier it is. And that's like a lot of people think they're going to do this and not have those kind of skills. Like if you don't know how to do a spring snare, if you don't know how to do a deadfall, like just the simplest of survival snares. If you don't understand how to do the simplest of survival snares and traps, then you can go out with a 1022 and have 10,000 rounds of ammo. I guarantee you won't even come back with one fucking squirrel. You might get the lucky pock shot here and there. You might get the lucky pock shot off here and there, but we both know squirrels are not fucking stupid. Like I'll walk into the woods after seeing 50 squirrels and I won't see a single fucking squirrel because they're all on the other side of the tree laying there going.
Exactly. You know,
and as soon as you walk by them,
fast as they can, man.
And they will scurry to the other side of the tree as you walk by, like you're walking by and they're walking around that fucking tree as you're walking past it. And if you're lucky, you might see their head poke out, but they're not fucking stupid. And the cottontails, man, all they do is tuck the tail down and drop, and they're gone. You're 5 feet away from them, and they're ghosts. You don't even fucking notice that they're even there.
They're waiting for you to. Sometimes you get a young one that like you walk 5 feet past it, and it's like, oh shit, and it just you know, and that's something I did a lot of too when I was younger. A lot of cottontail hunting with a shotgun.
Yeah,
you know, and
they're super challenging. Like, I think out of anything that's a challenging hunt, cottontails are definitely a really challenging hunt. Unless you can get them where they freak the fuck out and you happen to see them and they stop, because that's normally one of their first defense mechanisms. Like, I'm just gonna stop right here. And when they stop, you're like, oh, and then you can get a shot on them. Most of the time, they'll book ass out.
Yeah,
and if you're running them with dogs,
them on the run. It was like
Yeah, if you're
you
running them
really
with
had to
dogs,
get them on the run.
that's what Henry does. Like I'll get him on the run, but Henry can't catch him. I use Henry to flush them because I know the first thing they're going to do is they're going to run away from his big ass, and then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
stop, lay down, and then they're going to come right back to me
Mm-hmm.
because that's exactly what a cottontail does. It runs, stops, and doubles back, and I'll just be sitting there waiting for him to double back, and they'll
Jackrabbits too.
run right. Yeah, they'll run right back at me. Oh fuck that!
Mm-hmm.
I have never eaten a jackrabbit. That's
I've eaten
one.
the shit out of them.
So how they just man, they look so fucked up in the face.
So the big deal.
They look so fucked up in the face.
I've eaten a lot of weird ass shit just to do it, bro. I honestly have.
I've eaten coyote,
Okay, I
so like
haven't eaten coyote yet.
it's you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Tastes like duck.
Oh, really?
Like really muddy fucking duck. Tastes like duck.
Oh,
Dry,
oh yeah.
greasy, like very dry, greasy, but yeah. And the only reason it was dry is because there was no way I was not going to cook that all the way through.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
You
they
know,
can be
like cooking
dirty.
that bitch all the way through. Yeah.
Jackrabbits are the same way. It's like you really got to check them for boils and
Mm,
and
yeah.
parasites and shit like that, you know. And then the best way to do jackrabbit, honestly, in my opinion, is just to stew it for a long ass time.
So I dropped one on a coyote hunt, and we dropped like 30 dogs that day, and I dropped one on a coyote hunt, and it when I got up on it, it looked like a beautiful animal. When I got up on it, its ears were just full of ticks. It had just
Hmm.
shit crawling all over it. It looked like it had mange. I mean, from a distance, it looked gorgeous. When I got up on it, it looked like an epileptic rabbit on crack. It looked
Yeah,
bad.
they can be
I was like,
really nasty.
I was like, yeah, there's no. I was like, I'm not fucking touching that.
You know what though? But right, it's like if you're desperate enough, fire cleanses all things.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, I've been in places, dude, where they eat leech soup, like soup with
Have
leeches.
you had it? Did you try it?
No, no, no. I ate the spider monkey instead.
Okay.
I ate the spider. I was not about to eat the leech soup. I ate the spider monkey instead. I've eaten some really fucked up shit. I've eaten like weird lungfish that like don't die regardless of how long they're out of water.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's weird.
they look just about as bad as that idea sounds, and they taste pretty much like they taste pretty much like pond scum.
It's amazing how many things taste like mud. Like you were saying about the coyote. You know,
Oh yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
amazing. It's
straight
like
mud.
you wouldn't think it, or like I've eaten like mergansers and shit like that, like birds that are out there fishing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they taste like fucking fish and mud. You know,
The one that gets me is like when I was I'd been invited to go eat out on the res a couple times, and the food like it was all sheep because Arizona they raise sheep.
Hmm.
These sheep, the mutton these guys were fucking serving, and the stews they had tasted of a barn smells.
Ooh, so super muddy.
Oh no, it was just like that taste you get when you accidentally cut open an intestine and it gets on that juice gets on a little bit of meat, spoils that little bit of meat that you
Hmm.
didn't notice it and you had rinsed it off and like then you start cooking it and you get into that one piece and you're like, oh nope, ugh, nope,
Yeah, you're telling
yeah,
yourself it's
no,
all
that's
good after you hosed it down. You're like, that'll be fine.
that'll be fine. No, it won't. It won't. It definitely won't. We've all
No,
done that though. We have all done that when where we're cleaning the animal, then we like get a little nick. We're like, that'll be okay. That'll be okay. No, it
or
won't.
or just pulling the guts out, and sometimes if you're a little hard on some, you'll pop it, and
Especially that gallbladder.
yep.
Especially that fucking gallbladder.
It's funny, man, because I got sheep, You know, so I have like a number of different livestock out here on the ranch. I've got sheep, goats, like a shit ton of chickens, some guineas,
Yeah.
and meat rabbits. And we have a breed of sheep. It's like an old school breed, Jacob sheep. So they're like a dual purpose wool meat sheep. They don't
Yeah.
get that big, but they don't really mutton up. Like they mutton up a little bit, but
So they're not gamey at
it's
all.
no, they don't get like,
Wow.
you know, when people are talking about mutton, you know, they're talking about basically what you're talking about. That's why a lot of people don't like it, because it just, a lot of sheep breeds get
Yeah.
so gnarly when the nuts drop, you know.
See, that's like when I talk to people, like most of our meat comes from like wild game. Like it's either venison or it's wild boar or it's squirrel. And now we're
Hmm.
starting to raise meat rabbits. We literally just started this year raising meat rabbits. Or it's
Okay.
goat that we get from, or it's goat from that we get from other people. And we're in a nice network where we can get beautiful grass raised, grass finished beef. That
Oh, nice.
oh yeah, we're actually going to go pick up a share here soon from our buddy, and he runs so many cows a year, and like his meat's so expensive to like the average consumer because
Hmm.
it's such high quality meat. But when we talk about like wild foods like that, people are like, "Oh, I've tried it once and it was really gamey." I'm like, do you even know what gamey tastes like? Like, like did it taste like deer or did it taste like this or did it taste like that? Because like
Hmm.
if it walks, crawls, flies, or squawks, I probably put it in my mouth at one point or another. And the only thing I've ever found that was like really truly gamey per se was any animal that had too much stress before it died.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's a big
Like
deal.
you can taste cortisol, 100%.
Hmm.
You can taste cortisol.
Yeah.
If you finish and it doesn't matter what animal it is, if you finish that animal off quick, tastes fine.
Yep. Yep.
Tastes like most people won't even know the difference between it and beef. They'd have no idea between it and beef. In fact,
Hmm.
those coyotes that I kill, if you give it to somebody that's eaten duck, they wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between it and duck.
Hmm.
They'd have no fucking clue. And if you put it in a crock pot, which I did too, if you put it in a crock pot, you do a low slow cook on it and make fajitas out of the motherfucker. You make like pulled beef out of it. You could serve it as fucking tacos, and nobody would know it's not beef.
Hmm.
No one would know. No one would tell you that because I've done it. No one would be able to tell you the difference.
Did you tell him?
I
Did
have
you tell him like a couple weeks later that was coyote tacos you had the
no.
other day?
I told them this. Like friends of mine that have come, like friends of mine that would come over for dinners when I'm like, "Hey man, I'm doing a cookout." They're like, "Well, what the fuck we eating?" Like, just come over, just come over.
They know how
Like,
you
just
are
try it.
now.
Try the tacos. Like, oh, it's good. It's good. I let them get a couple tacos in, and they're like, "What's this?" Like, it's coyote. I'm like, really? And by that point, they're like, it's actually not that fucking like, exactly. It's not that fucking bad. No, it's like
Yeah.
anything in a crock pot. You put anything in a crock pot for 24 hours, it's gonna taste great.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
all
And then
comes down to
there's,
your seasonings at that point.
that's what I was just gonna say. I was like, the seasonings, certain things, man, go so good with certain seasonings. Like
Yes, yes.
my wife, so our meat rabbits, she's really started using a lot of curry, which is
Oh yeah,
really good with it.
oh yeah.
Yeah. And
It's that tender meat that's almost like lamb.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
that
It
tender meat that's almost. I wanted to stack. I wanted to stack a bunch of uh, squirrel meat once I get it cleaned on a pit on a spear, and then run it like a shawarma, and see if
mm,
I can see if I can make a log off of it and see if it'll taste like shawarma because I think it will. I think it will because it's almost like lamb as long as I can get the good flanks, put them all together, do a slow roast around the edges, and just slow cut through it. I think it'll be perfect.
what
And
do you think about, so there's like, there's a lot of articles that have been written about this. It's kind of interesting, like if you Google it, but where do you think gray squirrel sits when it comes to like the flavor of meat versus other stuff in North America out there?
ooh, we have a lot of grays here too.
Do you feel like it's up towards the top?
I think it's definitely towards the top. It's definitely towards the
Yeah,
top.
yeah,
It's probably one of the best tasting wild game meats out there. Besides cottontail, because cottontail is really super up there.
yeah,
Really super
yeah.
up there. It's not my favorite of game meats. Like if I had to choose my favorite game meat, pronghorn, 100%
Mm,
all day, every day. Fucking
yeah,
pronghorn is so good, and
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's the only meat that's like super lean, but it tastes like you soaked that shit in butter. And it's
It's
just such a clean meat.
yeah, we had some that was oh man, we had some ground pronghorn that someone gave us not that long ago, and it had pork fat mixed into it. But my wife made
Oh,
she made these burgers and then made a brown sauce that's like made for venison basically on top of the
oh yeah,
burgers. It was so damn good. It was so damn good.
oh,
You know, you know.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, let's see. Let's talk about some other shit here. So, I don't know how much you've seen. Like, have you watched much of my YouTube?
I have not seen your YouTube. I
Okay,
didn't know you
okay.
had a YouTube until now.
Yeah, it's kind of so. I've got like my TikTok where I get on there. I get pretty fired up, and usually it's the TikTok people that get me fired up, right? And then of course I'm looking at myself in the camera, so I'm just like yelling at myself on half of those TikTok videos. But YouTube is more it's more chill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more the real me. And what I largely focus on there is the 80-20 rule applied to prepping, like
Oh
survival and
yeah.
prepping, right? So 20% of what we do produces 80% of the results. And so
Yeah.
you've been, how long have you been homesteading? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Better part of 5 years now. Um,
Okay.
two in Arizona, three here.
Okay. Okay. So
But we
you
are
bought like lots that were like empty and then went ahead and have been doing it all
well.
yourself basically.
Here we bought a lot of land with a house that wasn't completely finished, and we finished out the house. So like somebody had tried something here, and we were like, "Oh, this is perfect." We got a fresh water source. I got a creek right behind me that
Mm,
runs all year round. I've got two springs that are just over that hillside. I've got an abundance of wild forageables that are all around me. So like
mm,
when people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in the woods and survive," like, well, it depends on the time of year. Like this time of year, I totally can gather up just about enough. Winter, almost like the diet. Like if I only had to live off the wild forageables here, I could probably make it through the winter. It'll the middle part of the winter and the late part of the winter is going to be really fucking rough, but we could do it.
mm-hmm,
Dietary wise, it would not be the healthiest of diets,
mm-hmm.
but add in all the meat that we can produce, and add in all the meat that we can gather and hunt. My bud, my boy's killing a tree over here. Uh, Add in all that, and we'll be okay. But we got into homesteading mostly out of I've already been a survivalist, and I was really just focusing on doing as being a survivalist until I started. Me and my wife got together, and we started having kids. My whole plan, and I've always been a kind of a prepper, but my whole plan was just to fucking walk off into the woods and disappear. But I can do that. Like I actually have the skill set to walk off into the woods and just disappear. By myself, I'm fine, but now I got a family in tow. So like, now that changes the whole dichotomy. That changes the game plan. Now I
Absolutely.
gotta figure out how to now it's not just me, it's them. I have to figure out how to keep them alive. And the only thing that came into mind was buy as much land as possible and homestead.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want water independence, I want energy independence, and we have that. And food independence is something we're vastly quickly working towards. We are still dependent on a food source when it comes to certain things, but for the most part, we've established a network where as long as the network stays in place and we have good communication with everybody, as long as the
Yeah.
network stays in place, we'll be mostly okay. Mostly okay for a number of months until everybody else's networks start falling down. Like everybody else's systems, their ability to maintain their animals and their ability to maintain the ability to provide animals for everybody else, and our
Mhm.
ability to provide the things that they need, because we have a barter system where everybody works together. That's the other thing that preppers don't think about and that survivalists don't think about, is that it takes a village, and if you haven't set up a network, and a lot of you like don't understand that, like when I came back to TikTok and thought about my name, CrypticSIN, the sin actually stands for safety in numbers.
Oh, okay.
It, the
Yeah,
the
that's
concept.
that's. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say that it's something I haven't gotten into it so much on my YouTube yet, but I have done a couple of videos on my TikTok about how important it is to be part of a group. And
Yeah,
like you got all these guys out there that are like, I'm going to lone wolf it. Well, you're going to die if you're lone
yeah, you're
wolfing,
gonna
man.
die.
That's how it's going to
You're
go.
gonna die because other people are gonna band together. Like if people are, you've got you got three different types of people. You've got nomads that aren't gonna fuck with people. It might be solitary or in groups. Then you've got nomads that are gonna fuck with people
Hmm.
because they don't have any skills besides fucking with people.
Hmm.
And then you've got the people that will hunker down because they've established a network, they have a community.
Hmm.
And yeah, some communities might not be as strong as other ones, and they might just get wiped off the playing board. But then their ability to produce resources for other people is now gone. So like,
Hmm.
yeah, you can go around and popping bubbles on the bubble wrap, and eventually you're going to run out of bubbles, and then now there's going to be shit, and you're left with your only ability you got is fucking taken from other people. Why do
Yeah.
that when you can? Why do that when you can establish a community and everybody can self support each other? Like I
Yeah.
don't raise I raise chickens, and I'm very successful at raising chickens and providing eggs. And I also forage, and I'm very successful at finding and healing many things with the things that I can find in the woods. And that's where almost all of our income comes from, is taking care of everybody else's ailments and keeping you away from big pharma, which is like the big thing that I focus on, is like not going to the doctor and making sure everybody can understand how their diet or certain things impact their health, and what can they do that has been done for thousands of years and they can actually have right here at the ground. They can take it, they can do this to it, or they can just eat it, and like whatever they had is gone, or they can
Hmm.
rub it on them and it's gone. That's my speciality. Like it's not just finding edible food in the forest, it's finding food that's gonna, when I say keep you alive, it's gonna fucking keep you alive.
You're
Like
talking about
these
stuff
things.
with like medicinal qualities and
Yeah,
like high micronutrient like value stuff, right? Is that basically what you're talking about?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
micronutrients, antiparasitics, antibacterials, antifungals, um, the releasing free radicals. Like these are the things that like people don't focus on. All they think about is what can I put in my mouth to keep my belly full.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
that's their main focus when it comes to survivalism. But like, okay, that's cool and all, but what happens when you get a cut?
Right.
It's simple, like people like don't think about these things. Like a simple fucking cut on your finger can get
Will kill
infected, turn
your ass.
septic, and now you're fucking dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
You can be
Yeah.
dead from a bad toenail. A bad fucking toenail will fucking end your world. A toothache
Yep.
will fucking end your whole game plan. And like
Yep.
these are the things they don't even. It doesn't even go through their brain. Like
People are
that's not
thinking
what the.
macronutrients. They're thinking
Yeah,
macronutrients.
they're not looking at the whole, like the bigger picture. Like you have to have all these things in place. So we've established networks. We've built a great community here, like where I'm at right now. We've built a massive community. um, my father lives right over here, just like right over there. When we bought this property, my mother had passed away, so we kept him close, and he lives right over there, and he does most of our leather repair. So like that's his thing. He's doing leather
Hmm.
repair and making things out of leather, and he's up there a lot in age. And we've got our orchard people that are up on the hill. They provide good fruit. Um, we've got our metal worker that's over here. Uh, we've got our uh, we've got our mechanic that's just right on the other side of this ridge here. And all these people, when I say our, like we all moved into this community and bought these properties, and we all we all knew each other before these properties were bought. This is a compound. And
That's cool.
that's what people don't have, is they don't have this established network and compound. And then we branch out from that. But 5 miles over that hill is our beef producer. And another 6 miles over the hill in front of me, more like 7 miles. 7 miles over the hill in front of me, that's our goat person and milk producer. Like that, like these are we're all branched together. We're all within radio communication of each other. We all talk to each other on a daily basis. We all run the farmers market together. Like we are the grassroots of what America will actually be when America stops being what America is now. When
And what do
this,
you see as far as what are your thoughts as far as a timeline of that happening, like current events and
I
shit?
hope, I honestly hope never. I hope all of this is just folly. I really hope it is. I really hope it's just folly, and we did was create a very tight community network. That's really what I hope. But the way it's going now, if things don't change on the path they're going right now, we will not slowly slip into totalitarian government. We are going to quickly slip into totalitarian government. And
Hmm.
the beauty of it is, those individual preppers with all their guns and their houses and all their little preps that they've done, um, if they don't have a network, nobody's going to know when their bubble gets popped,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be a big war against a group of people. It's going to be individual little targets getting taken out one at a time
You need
until
a
they've
group.
cleared that section. You need a group.
You need a group. Yep.
Safety in numbers.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Yeah, safety in numbers.
My my timeline, because you put one out there, 5 to 10 years. I'm thinking 1 to 5. I'm leaning towards the 5, and I'm kind of hoping that if I say it, I'll be totally wrong.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that, like, I'm not saying I'm not saying that it doesn't matter what fucking president's in office, really. There's an agenda that's rolling regardless of who's actually being the administrator at the time. But
Hmm.
I'm really hoping that, like, maybe if Trump does get reelected, there might be a little bit of a stopgate. Just like a little tiny bit of a tightening of the valve to keep the globalism back. But globalism will eventually get us all, and individual freedoms will be a fucking thing of the past. Individual personal
Hmm.
property ownership will be a thing of the past. And then they will come and try and tell us that we have to pay for this, we have to pay for that on shit that we already own. And we have to get rid of this, or we have to get rid of that, or they need to take all of these. And yeah, it'll be a not a slow march into totalitarianism. It'll be pretty fucking quick.
It's getting
If it,
really fast. It's really
yeah,
speeding
this
up. Like if you look at the last couple decades, it was just kind of slow moving along, and then really like 3, 4 years ago, man, it just started. Ever since COVID, it seemed like everything got just accelerated. You
Well,
know.
not to get too deep into conspiracies, but I think that this is not the first time we've been down this road at this technological point in our history. I think we've gotten to this point a number of times, and the only way for them to maintain control is to knock us back into Stone Age. And I think that's happened a number of times in our history. I think that the history that we've taught is is not true, and that we've been here time and time again, and we're just going to continue the same cycle over and over and over again. But those of us that kind of see how the how it's playing out, and those of us that understand it, will be the tribe leaders. When we're fucking having a nap flint and fucking start fires with sticks. We'll be the
Yeah.
ones that, we'll be the ones at the end of Mad Max, that we're fucking talking about the before times, the dream time, and then our kids will be like, well, our kids will be like, in the before time.
We'll be the
And then,
storytellers that have like the airplane
yeah.
drawn on the cave wall.
We're like, maybe
Flying
they'll remember.
machines.
Maybe they'll remember. Then you give it 1,000 years, and our drawings will be like argued over on TV shows, whether they're aliens or not. It's us trying to like, no, that was us. that was us. We
Someone
totally
drew a
had that.
light bulb in a cave. We think they had electricity, maybe. It's like the Egyptian pyramids. There's like pictures of helicopters and shit in them. Light bulbs.
Like, well, if you look at like they've done like beautiful animations of what a city will look like with no human interaction. Like everything stops and no humans are around. What a city will look like in 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years. And if in 500 years, New York City will not even be New York City anymore. It'll be a fucking pile of rubble. It won't even be recognizable as a city. Vegetation will have overgrown it. Dust will have settled on the rubble. You won't even know that there was a fucking building there. All the glass will be pulverized by rocks falling and animals trampling over them, soil collecting on it. It'll turn back into silica. It'll turn back into glass, and not glass, but fucking sand. And like, there will be no recognizable things that humans were ever there if left untouched.
Like there's a lot of like ancient places that are still here today. They're still here because the environment allowed for it.
Hell, better the tops of the pyramids were sticking out less than fucking 100 years ago. Well, not less than 100 years ago. Less than like fucking 150 years ago. Better the tops of yeah. They had to excavate them motherfuckers. All you could see of the Sphinx was just the fucking head of the Sphinx. Like they had to fucking dig and move all that sand and be like, oh hey, this keeps going down. Oh, it's getting bigger. like that's just the nature of the beast. Like we could easily be wiped off and all memory of us fucking gone. In a matter of 100 years. Especially to kids, especially to the next generations, because we don't fucking live forever. That's the hard thing, and our technology doesn't live forever, and books don't live forever. So like, it doesn't matter how much we try to leave stuff around and draw on fucking cave walls and carve into trees and carve on rocks. It ain't gonna fucking last forever. And then everything after that's just gonna be speculation. So somebody's gonna be digging up our fucking bones, and they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, look at this! Like, this person had a really nice knife. They must have had really nice metallurgy." Like,
or this person has the hips of a woman but is dressed like a man.
I don't think that'll be a thing. I always say that too. Or like, well, I'm a woman. Like, yeah, when archaeologists dig you up in 500 years, you're gonna be a man. That's the way crazy, that fucking plays out. Like, I had said something to somebody. They're like, why is it that Africa has all this cobalt in like one place? I'm like, why is it that Africa has a whole bunch of plutonium in one spot that, like, is super radioactive? Like, almost as if a long time ago there was a nuclear fucking, I don't know, maybe like a nuclear power plant there that went fucking ballistic and fucking blew up, and then they just buried it. Or like, maybe all that cobalt that seems to be like spread around instead of like in rock chunks might have been like a whole bunch of lithium batteries that were fucking buried because they couldn't charge them anymore. Like, and they're fucking toxic. They're like, oh, let's just take it over here and bury this shit in the fucking desert where nobody fucking goes.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking knows, man? Who fucking knows,
man? My brother sent me some crazy ass picture. It's kind of funny because like, he used to think he's the black sheep of the family, but fuck no, man, that's me. Anyways, so he usually doesn't send me this kind of stuff, but it was like a picture of a natural fission reactor over in the Middle East somewhere. And I was like, what? So I looked the shit up. Like, it's legit. There's just the way everything's working in the ground there, and there's these chimneys and shit, and to vent it, and just wild,
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of times modern man thinks he's so damn smart.
Yeah, every time we think we're smart, we will usually get checked.
Yeah.
That's just life experience. Every time you think you're smart, something's gonna come along and fucking check you. Like, every time you think, oh, I got this. No, you don't.
Yeah. I was. I've been working on my own. I've been working on my own vehicles for years, like years now. Because I wanted to learn how to be proficient, at least when it came to that side of
Good mechanics. Yeah.
mechanics, you know, and I've been so successful with it all this time. And then I bought this little 1987 Ford Ranger that was built in Canada like a little over a year ago. I'll never buy another vehicle made in Canada, bro. I'll tell you what. But this damn thing, I swear, I'm like, I'm going through everything, and I've been doing all this research. I've replaced so many damn sensors and parts on it. It's like every time I replace something, it runs worse.
That's like I've never been big on small engine repair, and I don't consider a Harley a small engine. You know,
yeah,
like
I
it's
don't.
based off a bigger engine, but it's still technically a small engine. And I was always so wary of working on my own bike until I just realized I can't afford to take this thing to the damn Harley shop, so I'm just gonna fucking rebuild it myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I stripped it down. I stripped it down to every single part, took everything apart, and then started building it back together. And I learned so much from that. And from that, I realized that like this isn't really that complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is pretty fucking simple. But I also realized how big tolerances are. Because like things that I didn't replace, if I replace something further up in the chain that affects that single part, if I'm like, oh, that part's fine, it looks fine. No, I should have replaced it. Because I replaced this, now there's more stress on this, and now that's gonna go out. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like chasing the ghost in the machine. That's really what it is. You're chasing the ghost out of the machine. And that's like when it comes to electronics, it's the same way. You're like, oh, this is fine. I'll just replace this diode. Like, no, now you got a volt drop over here. Now you got to figure out where that volt drop's going and whether it's within tolerance, not within tolerance. Can you put a resistor on it? And it's just so much. Electrical engineering, I think I have a good grasp of the concept of electrical theory. I can fix most things. I used to actually enjoy that. I would drive around and I would look for places where like college students were moving out, and they would usually like leave shit on the side of the road, or they would leave like a big screen TV, like a nice flat screen
Mm-hmm.
on the side of the road, and I would grab the flat screen, take it home, plug it in, see if it worked. If it didn't turn on, I knew exactly what it was. It was going to be one or two simple parts that cost less than $1, and then I would swap those parts out with a soldering gun, put it back together, turn it on, like, oh hey, it works, and then sell that shit on Facebook Marketplace for fucking $150. And it
Yeah.
cost me a
Well,
dollar fifty. Cost me a dollar $50.
a lot of times, just like cracked solder.
Yeah,
Like the
planned
cheap
obsolescence.
Chinese solder will crack, and it's just like you just got to find where the crack is, and
Planned obsolescence is the mainstay of consumerism. Because
totally.
you look at like iPhones. Like everybody has to have the newest iPhone. You gotta have the best iPhone. Like Apple comes out with a new iPhone. Everybody's like, oh, I gotta get that iPhone. I never thought I would see the day where people were standing in fucking lines and camping out to get an iPhone. But then again, like I I never thought I'd see people standing in line and camping out overnight just so they could get a fucking concert ticket. But I have, and waiting list for things there's that's where I think that the end of it has to happen. I'm fine with a reset because a reset means that all of this is fucking over. Like all the bullshit is done and it's over with. Because I like the simplicity.
Yeah, yeah, I do too. Have you heard of Mouse Utopia?
Uh-uh.
It's pretty interesting. Like just a simple search will bring it up, or if you search Calhoun, that's the name of the researcher that did this test, right? And what he did was he basically built this utopia for mice, and he would put like 4 mating pairs in this utopia, and so they had like all the food and water that they needed, like all the bedding materials, just living the dream, right?
Yeah.
And they would start breeding, and after so many days, this would just be like a bustling little mice city, and everybody was happy and healthy. Well, it would start going down the shitter totally. You would have like some of the mice would stop like taking care of their own hygiene. You would have male mice that would start exhibiting like female behaviors. Male mice would start humping their young. They'd start humping each other. The female mice would start becoming like dominant and all this crazy ass shit. And then the entire does it sound familiar?
I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm gonna have to look this up because that's fucking hilarious. That
It's
is
not a
fucking
long
hilarious.
read either. It's not a long read, and the whole thing would collapse. The whole colony would collapse on the same day. So he did the same thing over and over again. It only lasted so many hundreds of days. I want to say it was like 330 days or something like that. But don't quote me on that. I could be off. But every single time we got the same exact result. And I just read it over again like a month ago, and I was like, shit, man, it just sounds like modern America, you know?
I've always tried to explain to people like what the concept of thinking outside the box, uh, what that actually relates to in a larger, broader sense. Um, you can think of society as a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Box, and you can think of a circle as being what human nature actually is, and the box is inside of the circle. So that means parts of human nature are cut off from being inside the box, but they're still parts of human nature, and that's our violent tendencies, our sexual inhibitions, our our animality, our all the things that society doesn't deem necessary or society
Mm-hmm.
doesn't deem as acceptable, but they're all still part of human nature. And if we deny
Right.
them, then they will rear their ugly fucking face and they'll pop out. So that's in that sense, like society, the way we're doing it just doesn't have a
Mm-hmm.
and collapse the box, and now you just have fucking a bunch of rabid fucking dogs running around, fucking killing and humping each other.
And
We're getting there.
it's gotten to a point too where it's like society, parts of it at least, are suppressing things like logic, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
Just it's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Or
Oh
and like
don't
truth, you know?
don't think. Don't think. Just accept. Don't
Yeah.
question. Just believe. And that's what they want. That's what they want you to not think. They don't want you to not question. They want you to just believe everything. And like, oh, how can you deny this? Like, trust the science. Like, the dumbest thing I ever heard was trust the science. Like,
Mm-hmm.
science is about questioning. So, like, if you say trust the science, and you're telling me that I can't question the science, that's not actually science. That's propaganda. When you tell me
Absolutely.
to just accept it and not question it, that's really like, yeah, I don't even care if you're right at that
Mm-hmm.
point. Like now you're just telling me not to think for myself, and now that's where we're going to disagree. When you're saying like, oh, just accept it, just listen. Like,
Science is questioning,
yeah, but
you know?
yeah, that's the whole
It's
the
like
whole
science
point
is
of
questioning. It's the
scientific
whole
method is
fucking
questioning.
idea. And a lot of people too, it's like, oh man, they're just everything's fine. Everything's
Yeah,
fine, you know? They
there is
don't want to even consider the idea that things aren't running perfectly, because once they
yeah.
actually accept that, now they've opened the floodgates and they have to do something about it. And now they have to go live like you or me. You know what I mean?
Name one name one single theory that has become a law that has been based off of one single experiment. They've done one experiment and they're like, okay, well, that proves this theory. So now it's no, you do one experiment and you're like, okay, well, now let's test this and let's test this. And most theories aren't proven. That's why they're
Right.
called fucking theories. Gravity is still a fucking theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's still just a
Yep.
theory.
Yep.
String theory is still a theory. It's not string law.
The
It's
theory
not
of
the law
evolution.
of it's not the
Still a
law
theory.
of evolution. It's still all just theories.
Yeah.
Like
They
we,
should teach it like it's
from
the
all
damn law, though.
what they're basically saying is like, like from all the data that we've gathered, this is what we can surmise is probably the outcome. This is probably the reason and how this works. But there's still things we can test, and there's still data that contradicts it. There are these outliers that contradict this, or there's this other theory that might completely blow all of that out of the water. I mean, hell, out of Africa was the biggest theory that was taught for the longest time until genetics came around. And when genetics came around, like out of Africa was like blown the fuck out of the water. But guess what? They still fucking teach it. Like, oh, all life originated in Africa. The fuck it did. Humans came out of Africa. The fuck we did. Like, we literally have genetic fucking evidence that shows that humans actually sprung up in multiple places as exactly as humans. Like, oh, you mean like the same kind of creature can evolve in a completely separate location, isolated and cut off from another place? Yeah, it can. It fucking can. Protozoa do it all the time. Amoeba do it all the time. You have fucking two genetically almost identical fucking amoebas in two separate locations that have never interacted with each other. It fucking happens. It's, that's why I try not to put too much into that. I try not to put too much into the the concepts or the ideas of things being set the way they are, because anytime that I think something is the way it is, something will come along and disprove it.
Right. Something comes
So
along and
that's why,
slaps
like,
you across the face.
when people come along, when people tell me, like, they always say that, can you believe this? And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a scientific discovery or whether it's something happening in current events. I can always easily say, yeah, I can totally believe that. Like, you believe what just happened? Like, yeah. One thing fucking human beings are good at is fucking not fucking doing the same thing over and over again. They'll definitely fucking surprise you all the time. Like, can you believe this person likes this? Yeah, fucking, there's fucking people down the street that like to fucking dress up as animals and fucking each other. I can believe at this point in life, I can believe just about any fucking thing. So, I can believe anything.
You're like, bro,
It
you're asking the dude that fed you coyote tacos last week. Like, come on.
Doesn't fucking surprise me at all. I have lived in places where I've literally watched people fuck donkeys. So it doesn't fucking surprise me.
Wow. Crazy. Cool, bro. I think we ought to wrap it right there.
Yeah.
I'm shooting for an hour, and we went over, and that's fine. And actually, if you'd be down for it, I think you ought to come back on the podcast at another point if you're interested.
I'd love to.
Cool. It was fun. It was fun just chatting about shit,
Yeah, we should definitely do a live on TikTok together.
You could do that?
Yeah, you can do lives. You can't do lives? You can't do lives?
I don't know. I'm like, dude, I really not all that savvy technical wise, dude. I just yell at myself in videos and post them on TikTok. You did a post on there about how much you were making a month on TikTok. And I was like, what? You can get paid? I'm sure you probably remember the comment. Like, I just figured the creator fund shit out. And, and to stick it to the communists, man, I'm spending every cent per month on ammo that I get on TikTok. That's my plan. Yeah. Cool, bro. All right, man. Well, I'm so how this works, just to let you know real quick, is my phone will upload this to YouTube. And then what I'm going to do is download it off of there and just cut out that beginning portion where we had some technical difficulties, and then upload it with a thumbnail, and boom. So I'll probably post tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
Cool. Yeah, bro. I'll be in touch, man. We'll look into that TikTok thing. Yeah, you too, man. All right. Late.